I woke to the ghost of his breath on my neck, warm and ragged, like a secret that had clawed its way out in the dead of night. My eyes snapped open in the dim glow of the street lamp bleeding through our shitty blinds. And there he was, Adam, my straight-as-an-arrow roommate, frozen mid-motion. His hand hovering inches from my cheek as if he'd just pulled it back from the edge of a cliff. "Evan?" he whispered, voice cracking like thunder in a Midwest storm. "I can't pretend anymore. God, I love you, and it's killing me." That moment hit like a freight train barreling through the quiet streets of Chicago's Wicker Park, where we'd scraped by for 2 years in a third-floor walk-up that smelled like takeout pizza and unfulfilled dreams. I'd known Adam since our junior year at DePaul, when we bonded over late-night study sessions in the library. Him nursing a black coffee and me hiding behind my psych textbooks to steal glances at the way his jaw clenched when he concentrated. He was the all-American type. Broad shoulders from pickup basketball at the rec center, a fade haircut that screamed reliable guy next door, and a laugh that could disarm a room full of skeptics. Straight, or so he let everyone believe. Dates with sorority girls that never went anywhere. Bro hugs that lingered just a second too long when we watched Bulls games on our ancient TV. Me? I was the quiet one, the psych major with the messy curls and the thrift store flannels. The kid from the suburbs who'd figured out he was gay at 16 during a family road trip to the dunes, staring at the lifeguard instead of the waves. I never told Adam, not outright. Why ruin the one real friendship I'd clawed out of college anonymity? We graduated into the grind, him slinging craft beers at a Logan Square bar, me interning at a non-profit counseling queer youth in Boys Town, and crashing together made sense. Rent split 50-50, grocery runs to the Jewel-Osco on Division, and those rare nights when the city felt less like a pressure cooker and more like home. But lately, the air between us had thickened, electric with things unsaid. Adam had been distant, coming home late with whiskey on his breath and shadows under his eyes. I'd catch him staring at me over breakfast, fork paused mid-air, like he was piecing together a puzzle that didn't fit. Last week, after a brutal shift where some drunk asshole at the bar had called him a slur just for pouring a Cosmopolitan, he'd collapsed on the couch beside me, head in his hands. "Evan, man, what if I'm not who I thought?" he'd muttered, and I'd frozen, heart hammering, pretending I hadn't heard over the hum of the fridge. That night, the one that shattered everything, started ordinary enough. Rain lashed the windows like it was trying to wash away the sins of the Windy City, and we'd split a six-pack of Goose Island while binging old episodes of The Wire on my laptop. Adam was quieter than usual, nursing his IPA like it held answers. Around midnight, he mumbled something about crashing early, clapped me on the shoulder. His touch lingering warm through my t-shirt, and stumbled to his side of the room we shared, divided only by a threadbare curtain that did nothing to muffle snores or secrets. I lay there in the dark, staring at the water stains on the ceiling, my mind racing through the usual loop. What if he knew? What if he didn't and I lost him anyway? Sleep came fitful, pulling me under like Lake Michigan's undertow. But sometime around 3 a.m., consciousness flickered back. Not from a dream, but from the mattress dipping under his weight. I kept my eyes shut, breath even, heart slamming against my ribs like it wanted out. Was this a nightmare? No, it was Adam, sliding onto the edge of my bed, close enough that I could smell the faint pine of his soap mixed with sweat. "Evan," he breathed, so soft it was almost a prayer. His fingers brushed my hair, tentative, like touching a live wire. I didn't move, couldn't, paralyzed by the terror of breaking the spell. "You're the only one who gets it, you know? The way the city chews you up and spits you out, but with you. It feels like I could breathe." His voice trembled, raw as the winter wind off the lake. Then, impossibly, his lips grazed my temple, soft, hesitant. A kiss that wasn't a kiss but a confession carved in flesh. Salt bloomed on my skin, not from me, but from the tears tracking down his face onto mine. I wanted to surge up, to grab his shirt and pull him close, to say me too. God, me too. But fear clamped down like a vice. What if this was the booze talking? What if morning came and he laughed it off as a bromance fever dream? So I stayed still, a statue in my own skin, as he lingered there, his hand cupping my jaw for one aching second before he pulled away. The bed creaked as he rose, and I heard the rustle, papers, zippers, the soft thud of his boots hitting the floor. By the time I dared crack an eye, He was silhouetted against the window, stuffing clothes into his duffel, shoulders hunched like a man carrying the weight of the world. He paused, back to me, and scrawled something on the notepad by the lamp. Then he was gone, the door clicking shut behind him like a gunshot in the silence. I bolted upright, pulse roaring in my ears, and snatched the note. Evan, I'm sorry. I crossed a line tonight, and I can't face what it means. Not yet. Heading to my brother's in Milwaukee. Don't hate me. Take care of the place. Adam. Hate him? It was a knife twist in my gut, sharp and twisting deeper with every reread. I crumpled it in my fist, tears hot and furious now, spilling over as the rain outside mocked me with its relentless patter. Everything we'd built, the late-night confessions about dead-end jobs, the shared playlists of Springsteen and Hozier, the way he dragged me to Andersonville street fairs just to see me smile, crumbled in that instant. Betrayal? Yeah, but not from him. From me, for staying silent, for letting the fear win. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving, the kind of Chicago morning that seeps into your bones. I called in sick to the nonprofit, voice hoarse as I lied about a stomach bug, then paced our apartment like a caged animal. The place felt hollow without him. His Barcalounger empty, his half of the fridge stocked with dwindling PBRs. By noon, my phone buzzed. A text from our mutual friend Jake, the bartender from Adam's shift. Dude, WTF? Adam just spilled everything at the bar last night. Said you're the one who's been pining, creeping on him. He's freaked, man. Back off. The words blurred through a haze of rage and hurt. Pining? Creeping? That wasn't, no. Adam hadn't. But as the pieces clicked, nausea roiled. To save face, he'd twisted it, painted me as the predator in his straight guy panic. I stormed out into the drizzle, hood up against the wind whipping down Damon Avenue, and hailed a divvy bike to the bar. The place was a ghost town mid-afternoon, neon signs flickering like bad omens, but Jake was there, wiping down the counter with a rag that had seen better days. Evan, he said, spotting me, his easy grin faltering. Look, Adam's messed up right now. Where is he? I cut in, voice steel despite the tremor in my hands. Jake sighed, tossing the rag aside. Crashed at my place last night after closing. Said you, made a move. He's denying it all like it's some phase or whatever. A phase. The word landed like a slap, echoing the internalized crap I'd fought so hard to unlearn in those counseling sessions with the kids I mentored. He kissed me, Jake, last night while I was asleep or pretending to be, whispered that he loved me, and now he's out here lying to cover his ass. Jake's eyes widened, color draining from his face. Shit, he didn't. He told me you cornered him, that it was one-sided. He rubbed his neck, awkward. I believed him, man. Adam's always been the straight shooter. Straight shooter. The irony burned. I laughed, bitter and broken, turning on my heel before the tears could fall in front of him. Tell him we're done. All of it. The ride back was a blur of honking cabs and slick sidewalks, my mind a storm of what-ifs. By evening, Adam's texts lit up my phone. Evan, please. It wasn't like that.
I'm scared.
Then, Jake told me you came by. We need to talk. I deleted them all, curling into the couch with a blanket that still smelled like him. The city symphony outside, sirens, laughter from the dive below, mocking my solitude. 2 days blurred into a haze of takeout and therapy sessions I led on autopilot, doling out advice on self-worth to teens who mirrored my younger self. You're not broken, I'd say, voice steady for them if not for me. The world's just slow to catch up. But inside, betrayal festered like an open wound. Adam had cracked me open, then salted the edges with lies. Yet beneath the anger, a stubborn ache lingered, the romantic in me clinging to that midnight kiss like a lifeline. On the third night, as thunder rattled the windows, a knock echoed, tentative, then insistent. I yanked the door open. Rain-slicked Adam standing there, duffel at his feet, eyes red-rimmed and haunted. Evan, he started, voice raw over the downpour. I lied to Jake, to myself. That night, I couldn't sleep, thinking about how you've been my anchor in this godforsaken city. The kiss, it wasn't the beer. It was me, finally admitting I've been in love with you since that stupid library all-nighter, burying it under football scores and fake dates because what if I lost you? I crossed my arms, the doorway a chasm between us. You did lose me. When you turned it around on me, made me the villain to save your skin. Do you know what that does? To someone already fighting to be seen. He flinched, stepping closer, rain dripping from his jacket onto our welcome mat. I know. I'm a coward, Evan. Grew up in that small-town bullshit outside Rockford, where gay was a punchline, not a possibility. But you showed me it's okay to be messy, to want more than the script. I bolted because facing it meant rewriting everything. Betraying you was the only way I knew to run. Thunder boomed, punctuating his words, and something in me cracked. Not with fury, but exhaustion. The humanistic truth of it all. We were just two guys, flawed as the pothole-riddled streets outside, chasing authenticity in a world that demanded perfection. I stepped aside, gesturing him in. Then stopped running. But this starts with truth. No more half measures. He entered, dripping and shivering, and we stood there in the lamplight, the curtain between our beds fluttering like a truce flag. We talked till sunrise, about the fear that choked him, the longing I'd silenced, the betrayal that scarred but didn't define. No grand gestures, no cinematic sweep. Just two souls in a cramped apartment, unraveling and rebuilding. By morning, as the sun pierced the clouds over the L tracks, Adam's hand found mine. Not tentative this time, but sure. I'm all in, he said simply. Everything had changed overnight, all right? Not in a blaze of drama, but in the quiet grace of forgiveness, the romantic promise of vulnerability shared. Chicago kept spinning, hustle and heart, grit and glory. And so did we, side by side, finally honest under its unforgiving sky. In the end, love wasn't the thunder. It was the steady rain that watered what we'd almost lost.